As far as customers and what changes do you see with a customer experiencing GM's new plan with regard to having less dealerships, or even though that's going to take some amount of time, but what changes do you see with that customer experience maybe within a store? Do you think that when they come in to purchase a car, will that experience be differently handled than maybe it would have been a year or two ago?
No, I mean, you still want to, when you have a customer coming in your store, you want to treat them right.
Right.
Like with our store, we treat people the way we want to be treated.
Uh-huh.
I've had a number of vendors, even, and bankers and people like that come in and out of their store all the time. They enjoy the friendly atmosphere. They can sense it. They can feel it. You can go into places where you can cut the air with a knife.
Right.
And but you always want to make the customer comfortable and keep their needs and wants at hand and take care of them. As things go, from the consumer's point of view, they may, if the consumer can buy locally, do everything you can to buy locally.
Right in your
yeah,
neighborhood.
because again, it goes back to any dealership. I mean, they are donating, and they are
Right.
part of the community, and those dollars go to the schools, go to the activities, go to the city programs that are
Right.
going on. Like here in our in Wadsworth, I mean, what our city does for us, and with things in downtown Wadsworth and the schools and what have you, we have a very, very fortunate situation, and dealers are always giving back
Right.
to those things and donating and what have you, and so
Supporting the schools and supporting.
Yes, and we're very fortunate, not even to just get off the car business,
Right.
but we're very fortunate to have the businesses we have in
Right.
here. I go to various fundraisers and functions and what have you, and you see, your local jewelers, and you see the restaurants that are continually donating things to these causes,
Right.
to hospice, and the list goes on and on and on. And so if you can do anything to support
The local
the
area.
local area, please do it, because we don't, just because it's happening in the auto industry, it
Right.
can happen to anybody.
Right,
And
right,
it happens to the
absolutely.
small businesses on
Right.
a regular basis anyhow.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of other businesses in the area, I mean,
Absolutely.
are faced with the same types
this-
of situations that you are all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, the whole country
So-
has been affected with this whole thing. It's just not the automotive industry.
Right, absolutely. I know we already talked a little bit about some of the dealerships that might lose their franchise agreements, becoming used car facilities. I'm sure that the inventory concerns on we talked about on the new car side, as production decreases and so forth, probably even inventories for used cars, how do you see that being affected?
It already is. I mean, there's less and less used cars as we go, and then when you have new car dealers become independent used car dealers, there's going to be more
Right.
dealers looking at vying for those vehicles in the marketplace. So it's a concern. And as we go down another year or two down the road, you have to sell new cars in order to produce used cars.
Right.
So as we go down the road, it's going to get tougher and tougher when all of a sudden we go from 17 million to 9 million.
Right. Right.
We're going to have a shortage a couple of years down the road.
Exactly.
Without the used cars.
But that might even be another reason. I'm sure when a consumer is faced with that, and if the inventories aren't there on the used cars, and if the prices are probably a little bit higher on those then as well, that probably makes a new car even a more attractive choice.
Absolutely. We almost have that in some cases right now, where for not much more,
Right.
you can go into a new vehicle
Right.
versus a 1 or 2 year old car. Or a payment of difference of $20 or $30 a month. So a new car is
Right.
maybe you didn't think you could afford a new car, but with 0% financings and
Right.
things like that,
Some of the incentives, it makes it a whole lot more attractive.
It makes it worth at least
looking at
it.
You're right.
Absolutely.
And that's certainly where you and your staff and at any dealership should really be able to help the
Well, sure.
consumer to figure out and help them to make that choice.
Absolutely, and that's part of it.
Well, again, we're talking with Tom Casto, General Manager of Premier Pontiac. And certainly if you'd like to email some questions to Tom at tcasto@premierpontiac.com, he would be more than happy for future to answer your questions related to Pontiac or just the auto industry in general.
Right.
So feel free to send those in, and we'll try to address those. But then going back and kind of trying to wrap things up a little bit here, what do you see, if you had a crystal ball, what's the prediction for the future? Maybe, short term within the next few months, but maybe what do you see the picture looking like in a year or so for the auto industry?
Well, I think for the whole economy, and once we get through this third quarter and start getting in the fourth quarter and go next, everybody's saying that things should be a lot better. And is this all going to happen overnight? No, I don't see that.
Right.
But for the auto industry, it's going to be great.
Okay.
I really believe that. And you have a lot of folks that have obviously out of work or their income has been reduced considerably, and they've backed off. There'll be kind of a pent-up demand.
Right.
When things do break.
Uh-huh.
So I believe it's going to be a great time for the auto industry come next year and then going forward. But our industry, just like almost any industry out there, our goal is to get through this year and
Right.
and then get into next year, and it's going to make everybody just that much better.
That much better.
Better business.
And right
people
now,
and
the inventories are good.
are fine.
So
Right now they're fine.
That's good. That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Any other thoughts on just the auto industry in general, or?
Well, like I said, these are historic times for us, and as well as the consumer, and from the dealership, the industry level, and so I was in the business back when mortgage rates were 16-17%, and car loans were 24%. However, the money situation in the banking industry is a little erratic, has been a little erratic, but that's one thing we do have with GMAC. We've got funding, we've got money, and we will continue on that. GMAC just took over Chrysler Credit, so we'll have that funding available.
Well, good.
Yep.
Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Jamie.
And giving us all of this information. I know, like I said, there's a lot of background information about GM and just the auto industry, with a whole bunch of facts and information that you have posted on the website, and I'm sure that people would find that very interesting if they log on to premierpontiac.com and they can look at that.
Sure.
And again, any questions for Tom can be directed to tcasto@premierpontiac.com, and we thank you for joining us today. And
well, thank you, Jamie.
It was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
All righty.